and we're reaching the end of March with our episode 48. So we have been doing this live for more than a year. We just talk about that.
It's
So
crazy.
like 14 months already. Yeah, well, it's crazy. So again, I'm Mario,
I'm Whooper.
and with me is Whooper. We're gonna do like episode 11 of the current season shows and episode 2 and 3 of Gunbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's start with something. Let's start with Promise Neverland,
Okay,
shall we?
let's do it.
So this is the
Yawn.
start of the escape.
More like a
All
skip
right.
because I want to skip this show.
Right. How do you feel about this escape?
Do you even have to
How
ask?
how 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 do you feel about this kid like outsmarting their mama?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't even. I don't even care. I've been
All
saying
right.
that for a few weeks now, but I really don't have any reaction or any thoughts to any of this stuff. I mean, even when the kids are like literally cutting off their ears and setting themselves on fire potentially to escape the house, I still am not
All right.
pulled into the story by that.
All right. So now it's not on your like emotional level, but how you feel that's the plan. Is it like seem plausible to you?
The plan. Well, I think maybe one of my issues with this episode is the fact that the plan is executed off camera by characters who we don't know very well.
That's right. That's my issue with that as well.
Yeah, and as a result, I am even like less caught up in the proceedings and less intrigued. But I mean, they all. How does this episode even end? I don't. They're all getting ready to escape, right? Oh, but Phil, the blue-eyed little boy,
Yeah.
is left behind, and that actually answers the mystery of like why the show was kind of focusing on him so much. I suppose it was to generate, like we're supposed to empathize with the character's desire to go back and get him, which is probably what's going to happen in episode 12. Someone's going to realize, where's Phil? And they're all, somebody's going to go back. Probably Emma and maybe like one or two other people.
I think it might be Emma and Roy who gonna go back. So just Emma and Roy.
Oh, okay.
But I I well
I mean, that
I
kind of
don't
makes
know what.
sense because Don and Gilda have been leading the escape attempt pretty much.
Yep. Because I just don't know how I'm supposed to feel when we know that like the boys stay behind mama, like everyone else know about the escape plan. How like did he know about that, or like did he know but he decided not to escape with everyone, or did like everyone just forget to tell him like what's going on?
I my assumption right now is that he was informed, that everybody was told, but he is just like so
Yep.
innocent and sweet and stuff that he
Oh,
trusts his mama and loves her, and so
right.
he wants to stay with her.
Well, yeah, you remember like I think you mentioned that well way before about like the double informant, and you said like he was the one who like always pop up at like a very crucial times
Yeah,
and acting all innocence. I
yeah,
was thinking like maybe he wasn't like the informant, but maybe he have like some kind of like special attraction to Mama that he doesn't want to leave Mama, and thus he might be like in the future he might be like one of the future boss,
yeah.
one of the future villains to these kids.
Anything's
How,
possible.
bro?
I mean,
Right.
there's certainly something that we're supposed to have noticed about his character, and I guess now we're getting it. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily that he's going to have some big important role in the future, but that he is kind of like, a wrench in the escape attempt.
Yeah.
He's now
Well,
serving the purpose that he was destined for, at least in this first arc.
yeah. What I was disappointing to that to this episode, yeah, was that like you say. We get like the last episode of Emma and Ray just sitting like aimlessly feeling like feeling empty and stuff, and then it turned out that everything had been prepared by her as
By
well,
Norman.
like I see by Norman. Yeah, that's right. He
He's the
like the
one who
master
he
plan. He
knew Ray was gonna like try to escape in a certain way by burning himself alive, and
Yeah,
he like calculated all of this, and like he incorporated Ray's potential fire, self arson, I don't know, whatever you
betrayal.
want to call it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he figured that out. Okay, so here's a question I have. You know that letter, like the letter
yep,
of Ray's, I think that both Sister Crone and Norman have seen. Was that what was
yep.
written in it? Like his plan? Do you
Maybe
remember? Do you remember
that's
scenes of
what.
the characters like looking into his bedside table, seeing something there, and then reacting in shock?
Huh.
And we still
Maybe
until
yes.
until now, and perhaps not even now, we didn't know what it was that they had found in his bedroom. Was it this? Was
Yeah,
it like a letter
yeah.
explaining? Oh, maybe it was like a will, like something he had written for people to find after he was gone, after he was dead. I don't know.
Maybe I have no idea at all.
Because for Norman to have known
Well,
about this, I mean, Ray must have left something behind. So I'm guessing that's
yeah.
what it was.
Well, but then again, like, in my reason is that Mama just keeping an eye of to to Emma and Roy. That she overlook all of these other childrens. So that
Yeah.
like Don and Hilda just like like pulling all the string behind. But that that doesn't make sense either for me because my man also know about Don and Hilda involvement in all this.
Yeah. Plus she has a
And
tracker that displays the locations of all the kids, not just the two that we see when we finally get the view
that's
of the
right.
tracker in this episode. We only ever see like a couple dots, and they usually
That's right.
correspond to Emma and Ray, but she can track all of them, and her business, like
That
her job is to take care of all the children.
that's right. And to make it even worse, like we have the flashback of like Emma actually just sits sitting there and every talk to every kid.
Right. Yeah,
Like
when she's up against the
if
tree.
Mama was yeah, if Mama were watching her, like they couldn't have do that.
Yeah, all the kids are
And
like huddled
I
around her with intense expressions on their faces.
yep. Well,
Well,
my
nothing
God.
out of the ordinary here.
All
I mean,
right.
at this
But
point,
promise never
I'm
let
I
me.
haven't I haven't read the manga, so it's not fair for me to say this, but at this point I'm tempted to feel as though the source material is just bad. Cuz all
I
of
would say
this is
so.
like
Well,
so, I don't know. I don't have a word for it. Whatever.
I don't know, man, because when I read the manga, I actually feel involved. I actually don't think that all of these, like, was contrived or anything. I actually feel like they're working out something for themselves, and I actually think that the sub material was pretty good. I don't know what happened. Like maybe it's just the adaptation, or maybe I will just overlook on these bad things, on the convenient plot that happened, in in the story. But here, I just don't think that it worked.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm certainly not a fan either. I don't feel as though it's clicking for me. But this show it's really popular. I mean, I think we say that every week as well.
Yep.
But
Hmm.
a lot of people like it, and so I don't think that the show is failing. You know,
Mm, well, well,
it certainly
in
isn't on like a monetary level or like an attention level, I guess.
yep. Well, one good thing about the episode though is that it showed the vulnerable side of Roy, which we always see that he like the heartless guy, the guy who doesn't care about anyone else but Emma and Roy and himself. Now we know that like he even planned to not to escape in the first place, so he planned to sacrifice himself for Emma and Norman, and I think that say a bit about his characters.
I mean, I guess so, but if he were actually selfless and if he were actually thinking of others, wouldn't he just not set himself on fire? Wouldn't he just set a fire and escape with them and help them in their escape attempt?
Yeah, but he just wanted to make sure that Emma and Norman specifically to run away, because he doesn't think that anyone could uh escape altogether.
Yeah, but
So well, yeah,
if that's his main concern, making sure that those two escape, then why not just set a fire, not using your body,
yep,
and escape with them and help them and use whatever knowledge you have of, demon society, their outside world,
yeah,
to aid them. The reason that he sets himself on fire or plans to is just because he feels as though no one can forgive him. He shouldn't be forgiven for letting so many kids get shipped
what he
off
did.
to die. Yeah, with the knowledge that that's what was happening to them. So he feels conflicted, so much so that he's ready to give up his own life. I mean,
Yeah,
the setting
well,
of his own body aflame doesn't contribute strategically to the escape. Oh,
yeah,
well, maybe it
like
does,
where,
because then like Mama has to try to put out the fire on his like legs and arms and stuff.
yeah, sausage.
Right, all the meats. And they put out some hair
Yeah,
too, like some rope or some hair or something. So you get the
all
the
right,
smell of singed hair. That was that's the attention to
voodoo.
detail that makes The Promised Neverland one of the standout shows of the winter 2019 season.
It is one of the standout show out of the
Dude, I
the
seriously regret the
the
fact
winter
that
2019.
we covered this. It should have been Run with the Wind, or like
Yeah,
Kotobuki perhaps, or
or
something.
yeah,
Even
or even like
Endro.
the writer and his cat.
No,
Yeah, well, and
I actually dropped The Writer and His Cat. I got bored with it.
all right, or even Boogie Pop Phantom.
Eh,
Yeah, you only watched the first episode, right?
yeah, but it was
It
like pretty
it the
mediocre.
it well, yeah, well, it's the worst episodes out of like all these episodes of Boogie Pop Phantom.
I think I'm
It,
just
it doesn't have like the yeah, it doesn't have like the first act, which is like the first three episodes, isn't like among the worst act as well.
I mean, I
Uh,
believe it. But I think maybe I'm just not a boogie pop guy because I didn't like the 2000
2000 version,
adaptation. I didn't like this one.
right?
I mean, if
Yep,
anything, I probably
yep,
have to read the light novels, but obviously I'm not too interested. So,
yep. All right. So I think we still have like an episode or two about the escape, and I think like next week we're gonna know that like Norman is safe and sound. He's just somewhere, he might just appear. Oh, how do you think that this kid gonna escape the the plantation?
I don't care.
All right,
I really don't. Maybe they'll
think of
do maybe
something,
they'll
man.
do what Norman did and just attach a rope to a tree and for some reason, in defiance of the laws of physics, be able to run up the wall like Spider-Man even though the tree is too far away and the rope is not providing any leverage. Maybe they'll all become superheroes like Norman was when he got up on top of that wall.
All right. And man, all right. Let's just stop here.
Okay.
We done complaining about the show.
I'm not. Well, I'll be back next week.
Emma with her best hair.
Yes.
I like her hair.
Emma's best hair.
All right. All right. Let's get to the good one then. Let's get to Mob Psycho 100.
Okay. Let's do it.
So we have like many other fight. This
Yes.
time like this time again like the ex claw members and those five,
The Ultimate Five.
well, the ultimate five, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To the point though is the fight between him and one of the best of the ultimate five.
The teleporting guy.
The
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I was expecting that the teleporting guys will have a fight again Mob. So I was a slightly bit disappointed that like it ended up that the guy just give up when he see like how strong Mob was. But I think the whole point is that it's not about him and Mob, but it's about him and other members of the X Claw who despite like overwhelming by his powers still managed to beat him or like
They didn't
make
manage to beat him.
even they managed to punch him.
Yes, they managed to land a couple hits on him.
Yeah.
But like even when
So
the what's the Teru, even when Teruhashi, the blonde-haired kid, manages to
yep,
kick him,
yep,
the
yep.
teleporting guy still catches his leg in midair.
Yeah, that's right.
And they do eventually they do get a few good punches because man, I don't even
He
remember how
will
it happens.
distracts.
Yeah, he's distracted
He
probably.
will, yeah.
But I mean, then he just gets up and says to himself, "Okay, just block out everything in the environment that isn't psychic." And then he focuses on all of them and immediately like teleports around and beats all of them into the cement using some technique
Yep.
that he calls mind's eye. Do you remember when his eyes turn black and his pupils are like
Yep.
red
Hmm.
or his irises?
You know what that remind me of?
What?
You know what character that one remind me of?
Who?
The main guy in a Pocket Battlefront. The
Leo?
all-seeing eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Leo.
Well,
Leo.
Leo's all-seeing eyes are like totally blue.
Blue. Yeah, that's right.
Or are you
that's
just
right.
talking about like in
I
concept?
just remember. Yeah, I just remember like the black and white version, but yeah, from the manga.
Ah,
But
okay,
yes,
okay.
yeah. It's about the concept
Yeah. I mean,
that he can
that
see everything
the
through
teleporter,
that special eyes.
right. The teleporter's so powerful that even when the X-Claw members land a bunch of hits on him, he just kind of shrugs it off and says, "All right, now, now I will try." And he focuses and, crushes all of them in
Yep.
like a split second. But then
Mm-hmm.
the most interesting thing about that entire exchange for me was the fact that he had focused so much on psychic presences in the environment that Reagan manages to slip in undetected because he has no spiritual aura.
Yep.
So then he just like punches him,
Mm,
and it works.
Was that scene? Yeah, it worked. But was that scene like feel very disruptive to you? The way that Raiden just pop up into the screen and just hit him.
Yes, it's supposed to feel that way, specifically because
it's supposed to feel
the
that way.
teleporter decided to block out any presences that weren't psychic. That's how Reagan's able to sneak up on him. And then
Yep.
he assumes, because he's so caught up in like this world of psychics beating each other up. He's so into
Yep.
that mindset that he thinks, is he so powerful that he can suppress his aura? When of
Yep.
course that's the furthest thing from the truth. So it kind of reminded me
I
of
think
what
that's
Reagan did in the second half of the first season when he,
that's right.
he just invades Claw's headquarters and on the back of his bravado just convinces everybody that he's super powerful and really influential when he's not.
Hmm. Yep. Well, he always had that ability to I don't know fluff his voice into into making someone think that he have special power,
Right.
but the truth is that he not.
Nope. He's just a regular guy
Yeah.
and not a very good guy.
How do he's alright. He's fun to watch.
He's a manipulator of children.
Yep. Oh, well, I agree with that. But he also care about the children too. But
when
still,
when it's convenient.
yeah.
When they
All
bail
right,
him
all
out
right,
of, national embarrassments on television.
all right. Let's just drop that. Um, let's talk about like the master behind the big five.
Show's dad.
What do you think his yeah? What do you think his power is? Because it's about to be that his power to be the more powerful psychic of all time.
Yeah, he says specifically, like, all the years that I spent preparing for world domination, a lot of them involved travel. He went around to
Yep.
different countries to see if there were any psychics as strong as he was, and he couldn't find even one.
Yep.
So I guess he ignored Japan because Mob is here,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe Mob is
Yep.
so young that he like didn't even consider him, because he says he's been doing it for 20
Yeah,
years or something along those lines.
that's
and
right. That's
and
right.
Mob's only going to be like 13 or 14 years old probably
Mm-hmm.
as a
Mm-hmm.
middle schooler.
He in middle school. Yeah. Yep.
So what's his
But
power?
what do
We
you
see
think?
him use
Yep.
fire and ice, like
Right.
the
Yep.
half and half kid from My Hero Academia.
Yep. 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 I don't even remember his name. He. Yep.
Me neither. I don't
Something.
remember
Something.
any of the characters' names. I remember Bakugo. He's the one who shouts all the time.
Yep.
It's really, really annoying.
Well, he. Nah. Just skip that. Yep. Go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we see him use fire and ice. What else do we see him do?
Uh, Something about blocking his son attack.
What is some kind of force field or
That
something?
no. So that wasn't him. That was his one of the big five. That was the shut-in guide who
Ah,
protected
the guy with
him.
the umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Mob is going to have to go through the umbrella guy before he gets to the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, he said something about like what he had been storing up for 20 years in order to do the space one of the special power to his
yes.
son or something.
Yeah, that's right. He wants to give him a taste of the power he's been storing up, something like that. Just something dumb and
Yeah.
shonen-y.
Yeah, right. I think I've been asking you that because I just don't see like how he's more special than the rest. Because I still do, because usually like one of these psychic, they have like one dominant trait about their ability.
Hmm.
This guy though, I don't see his main ability yet,
Right.
so
Well,
I'm not
I
really
think that's
sure
supposed to
what to
be
make of him.
I think that's supposed to be an indicator of his power, that he has like multiple abilities. He'll probably
Right.
have one a trademark, a signature
The,
that will come out in
Mhm.
his fight with Mob, but if he can use fire and ice, that's just supposed to make people think that he's impressive. Like he's supposed to make audience members think that he's impressive.
yep.
So,
I'm not too impressed by that.
well, that's the thing about shonen anime is that when it's time for them to actually bring their conflicts to a close via combat, a lot of it boils down to just like this guy is more powerful than this guy. Some of them even attach numbers to the power levels, like Dragon Ball Z. This guy has 9,000 power and this guy has 7,000. And in,
All right.
I mean,
They
Mob,
actually do that.
yeah, and Mob Psycho,
Damn.
Mob Psycho isn't that, bad about it, but
Yep.
it's still, you can tell that it's still, for example, the teleporting guy has a special power called Mind's Eye, which is demonstrated to be more powerful than all the other guys' powers. And I just keep using the word power over and over, but because that's what we've come to, is all the characters
Yep.
using their powers and displaying the level of their powers.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it looks great. This episode was
Yeah.
crazy. All the
Yep.
buildings getting demolished and like parts of them flying around and People just like slingshotting themselves around the environment in the teleporter fight. It was amazing.
Yep, I agree. I just feel like it doesn't have like the substantials, the deeper meaning, or even like uh it more action. It's just more action and more surface than the first half.
Yeah, it definitely is. We don't know enough about Sho or his father in order for the conflict to have any sort of
Yep.
resonance to it. So
Right.
a
Right.
lot
Right.
of that is
Agree.
down to the animation, the practical effects, just the general
Yep.
coolness of every scene. And to be fair, they're like, they're kick ass. They're really fun to
Yep.
watch. Um, and that's okay. Hopefully, by the time
Yep.
we get to the
I
end, we're able to get some clear motivation. In terms of like Mob versus the big boss, they'll have some conflicting ideology, and hopefully that plays out in their conversation or
Yep.
in their fight.
I hope they talk, and I hope they influence each other viewpoint or something. More than just like just fight battle. But to its credit, Mob Psycho 100 has always been about more about characters realize that they're doing something wrong when they fight more than the battle itself.
Realizing they're doing something wrong. What do you mean? Like they're not
Or like,
fighting to their fullest potential,
well,
or they're doing something like morally
no, no,
or
no.
ethically wrong?
Well, what I mean is like in the first season when fight against close members, and when he's done that, like some of the members just realized that how Mob was so strong and how his viewpoint of the world actually like changed them in a profound way. Like it all this kind of crap, but like it's still better than just the battle themselves.
I don't
Just
know.
like one guy hit the others and stuff
Right. I kind of
and
felt
move
as
on.
though the second half of the first season was a bunch of guys hitting each other in comparison to what came before.
Mm.
Like my favorite Mob Psycho is the first half of the
Yep.
first season. To me, that's
Still the first half of the first
yes.
season. I don't even remember much about the first half of the first season.
Oh, I rewatched it last year.
It's all right. It's a I remember we have the blonde hair guy.
Yeah,
Um,
that happens like in
so
episodes 5 and 6, maybe.
Teru.
Yeah,
Yep. So
but
what happened before that?
it's school. It's a lot of
All
him
right.
being at school.
Oh, he
And
joined the club.
yeah, like joining a club and then joining like the body improvement club and making friends with the telepathy club. Uh, trying to deal with his family situation because his parents are critical of his inability to control his psychic powers, and
Yep.
fleshing out his relationship with his brother. His brother's really like secretly jealous of him, but on the surface is very supportive. Um,
Oh, is it happened in the first half as well? The his brother acting up.
yeah, that's in the first
You,
half too. The second half is all
all
Claw.
right. Yep. So the same here.
Yeah,
Mm,
so I mean
all right.
that's my favorite part, but it's all pretty good, you know.
Mm,
And that's all I
all
got to say
right.
about that.
Yep. You have any other notes regarding Mob Psycho 100?
Oh yeah, Mogami got released. Remember that X-Claw member
Oh yeah.
with the
Yeah.
capsules? Mogami gets released
Yep.
like
Yep.
just
Yep. Yep.
in within a matter of a minute. He gets out and he's like,
Mm,
"Mob, you have to be stricter and more harsh with people," and then pieces out.
yeah. Yep. Well, I actually did expect that. Is expect him to be more involved, more like out of control. Maybe like trying to kill mob right there and then.
Yeah, you would think
But
so, but instead the show just kind
yeah.
of frames the scene as a way for Mogami to be released so that he can come back later. It's not very subtle. Like
Right.
they just want him to continue to be like have some potential to recur, to come back.
Yep.
So they
And
just let him out in this episode.
yeah, well, and he was now he was more like a mentor to Mob.
I don't know
He
if I would
was
use that
like
word,
teaching Mob how to
but yeah,
why.
he does advise him because a mentor is someone who provides continued guidance. I think someone to whom
All right,
the student like looks up.
yes, he did that. He did like provide guidance to Mob. You had to be harsh. You had to
Yeah,
be stricter to the world.
but then he just left. Like
Yep,
if you
and
start a
he will be
job,
back.
if you start a new job, let's say, and the person who is supposed to train you is only there on your first day and says, "Well, you got to do this, this, and this. All right, I'll see you later. This is my last day at work," and then leaves. Would you consider that person a
Yep.
mentor?
Uh, well, would
The
you
answer is no.
consider? All right. Would you consider Reagan a Moff mentor?
Yes, I would.
All right. Yeah, I would. I would too.
Yeah, because they have an ongoing relationship, and you know, even though Mob, I think, understands at this point that Reagan is without any psychic powers, he does look up to Reagan.
Yeah.
Because he's an adult, and I don't know, not for any other reasons, I don't think, just because
Because he came from Mob.
yeah.
All right. All right. To a degree, yes. We've been through
Yes,
that.
we have, yes, indeed.
All right. Well, I still like this show. I think like you. I think the production, the animation was just top notch. It just like kick everything out the table. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's pretty
It
nuts,
just
to be honest.
yeah
I don't really understand how Bones is able to do this all the time.
yeah.
Um,
They just outdone themselves.
I
Wow.
guess so.
Yeah.
All right, so
I have nothing else to say. It's like
what's
yeah.
next?
Let's just go to the next shows. Let's go with Dodolo.
Dororo episode 11. Okay. I felt like this function is kind of a natural extension of the last episode because it continues Tahomaru's search for the truth about the baby. But it
Yep.
also shows Dororo and Hyakimaru going in like deeper into the country that they'd been journeying to. Because we didn't get much of them last week, so the roles were just kind of swapped. But it does seem to be a continuation
Yep.
of what came before. So I wonder if that's signaling a potential,
The end of first act.
yeah, like the end of a first arc, or just we're gonna get a more continuous story from this point on, or perhaps just for a little bit.
I think it's a little bit because I think the title of this episode is like Pack One.
Yes,
there's
it
gonna
was.
be Pack Two, the next week, and I think that's gonna be like the end of the first act.
Right.
Like, I think we have like the first meeting, and they will fall out. So
Who will
that-
fall
this
out?
gonna-
What do you
it's
mean?
The like at the end of the episodes, like Maru actually met his old father.
Ah, yes.
So I think they're gonna have like a fight, and then like afterwards, they will like they will fall out and prepare to be meeting again in the climax, in the end of the the series run.
Right. Well, let's talk about that. The ending where the two of them are kind of facing each other on that at night on the field.
Right. Yep.
I think that's an interesting scene because Daigo is like he's obviously he's very prideful and greedy. That's what causes him to sacrifice his son in the first place, just for like riches and power. But I'm sure that he also feels like he has a duty to his people, because we have been shown the perspective of the commoner pretty frequently throughout Dororo so far. So that's in the show's view. We're not just hearing about people who live in palaces and like traveling warriors. We also get stories that involve quite a few common people. So I'm sure that Daigo is thinking about that as well. Like he has, in order for him to stay prosperous and provide for all the people who live in his kingdom, he's got to, you know, he he has to stop his son essentially because all the bounties
Yep.
and the blessings that he's receiving are a result of the demon activity that claimed his son's body. So that
Yeah,
and I
and
I also have to assume that he has some like buried somewhere deep down because this is a Tezuka series, and he, you know, I think that one of the themes underpinning his works is that there is a certain amount of human goodness in everyone. So he
oh
a
yeah,
part of him probably like a small part probably loves his son. So all those things are playing out, I think.
yeah. Um, it 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 also must be noted that the land, the province had has been dry for a while now.
Yep.
So that just means that the evil isn't too happy about this, about the fact that he had Kimaru just killing off many and many monster and get his body back.
Right. Yeah, that's we can assume that that's the reason for the drought.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that I, right.
That's why there's some
But
extra
the
tension between the two of them. I mean, their relationship is
yeah,
already messed up enough, but now he has like
yeah,
there's an
right.
economic kind of
Well,
consideration.
my first impression about his father though, Daigo, I always thought that he did that because of the people. Like he did that for himself too. But I think he does like look after on the people uh in the village. But like for the episode, the mother actually call out about his actions, about like all his intention, and I think I do feel that it was a bit too on the nose.
Well, what
The
does
way
the
that
go
yeah,
ahead?
yeah, yeah, I still think that it's a bit on the nose that like the mother would ask him that, and he would just like walk away.
Women
It's
don't
not.
understand politics.
Yeah, women don't understand politics.
I was
Right
actually
at the time
when I
that
interrupted you just
that their
now.
son. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yep. Go on. Go on.
When I interrupted you just now, it was actually the mother, what she says to her husband, that I was going to bring up because I can't remember what she
Yep.
said exactly. Did she directly accuse him of like being greedy
Yeah.
or yeah?
No, no. She just questioned him. She just said something along the line of, uh, "Did you sacrifice your son, uh, because of the goodness of the people? Because of the people? Is it because of you want position and you want uh reputation?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah. So
it's maybe a little bit of both, but I do think that he's been shown to be pretty greedy. I mean, the way he
yep.
acts in
Yep.
episode
Yep.
1 where he's like pretty much gleeful about the fact that the baby's been born just so that he can then sell it off essentially to a bunch of demons
Yeah.
and like ignore his desperate wife's cries from her bed.
Yep.
You you know,
Well.
if you're the sort of person who thinks about the lives of others, be they your family or the people who you rule, you're not going to do something
Yep.
so twisted and messed up.
That's right. That's right.
But the anime are most anime series aren't made about ordinary people. I mean, that's not true. What am I saying? Many of them are made
Uh.
about ordinary people. But fantasy series of
Yep.
like this scope or historical, epics, whatever, they are typically made about unordinary people. People with crazy combat abilities and rulers and things like that.
Special people for special mission that save the world.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, yeah,
What were you going to say earlier
and
about the
yeah.
sun?
All right, yeah, right at the moment that the son just like overhear everything
Oh,
and come to questions about the lost child, or right at the time that the son just met one of the crazy women who talk about the same thing about the cursed child. All
Right.
right,
Who is
it's all
that?
right.
Who is that woman? I mean, we know that she's like
She
some crazy lady, but was she? Or, go ahead.
she was one of the midwife.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. Like the younger one, not the one who
Yeah,
takes him out to the river.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I guess
But
she
but but
goes
but but
crazy
but
because
she wasn't the one who in the castle though. She was the one who after someone saved him. So like someone saved him to go to one of the main midwife, and she happened to be there. And when she saw the child, she just got crazy basically,
yeah.
because he had no eyes, no skin, no whatever, no
Yeah.
legs, limbs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yup.
So right. Um.
I mean, we haven't mentioned the kid, Tsukeroku. Um, the one. There's that whole
I
plot
don't
about the
have
wall. That little.
Yeah, I don't
It
have
looked.
any strong feeling about that kid.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down. Was that it was the least convincing part of the episode, because it doesn't
Right.
factor into that feeling of continuation that this episode has from the previous one. Sukeroku is like
Yeah.
the big new element, but his design isn't very interesting. You know, he doesn't have like a cool wolf pelt that he wears like Saru from episode 8 or 7, whatever that was.
Yep.
He's just like a
Yep.
normal looking Mappa, hastily drawn and animated child. Um, and he's like the plot is so bizarre. They call it a wall, but it looks like a bridge that's been half embedded into the ground, just kind of sticking up.
Yep.
And
It,
his
it's
goal is to like
like
get
it's
past that wall. You know, it's not as though it's a big imposing,
it's
really long wall like in Neverland. It's just a big thing of wood sticking up. I don't know. Just the whole concept
it's
of
like
it didn't click with
it's
me.
like the tombstone, you know.
A tombstone?
Yeah, tombstone.
Uh,
That's what it is for me. So and it was like everyone had been dying there, so it's like a cursed tombstone as well. So
um,
that's I think that's why like all the spirit just come to there. But I'm not really sure about the monster themselves. It's a bunch of
it's like a
is that
Firefox
blue
spirit.
flames?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a.
yeah. You're right. You're right.
I mean, it's probably supposed to be based on the nine-tailed fox, which is like an old Japanese
Yeah,
yokai, I guess.
yeah. But how do you gonna kill them? You know, it just the concept itself is just
Well,
so strange.
that actually struck me in this episode. Like Hyakimaru was slashing at it with his swords, you know, and
Yep.
just all the little miniature ones before it went into its major form. And it wasn't really having much effect because what are you doing? I mean, you're slashing fire with the sword. Like that's just
Yeah.
going to be ineffective.
Well.
But then
Yeah.
Daigo's men fire a few arrows at it when it's about to like finish off Hyakimaru.
Yep.
And it like like pitifully, and it looks terrible. Like 4 arrows embed themselves into the ground, and it like jumps away and leaves. How is that threatening enough? Hyakimaru's been slashing at it with a sword, and it dodges a few arrows, and then is like, okay, well, these are too scary. These tiny little sticks with sharp bits on the end. I can't deal with this. I'm going home.
It reached my limit. Let's just call it a day, a night now. See you
Yeah.
next time. They're
I,
gonna be next episodes.
I guess we couldn't see its health bar. You know, maybe its health bar was like really low.
Yeah, yeah, right. Well, I think the kid himself, I think his role is not finished yet. So we're gonna see like what happened in the next episodes.
Oh yeah, he's been kidnapped,
I'm
and
not
then
really sure though.
Dododo
Yeah.
runs after him, and it's not resolved because we cut back to Hyakimaru and his father. Oh, you know what? Maybe the Firefox runs away because Daigo is sort of its master.
Yeah,
Like because he sacrificed his son, the
right.
demons they're kind of serving him.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Maybe it has something to do with him. not with
Right.
not with the yeah he
Not with the arrows.
oh my god not with that's right.
Yeah, that just
Well,
occurred to me.
let's just say, yep. All right. You have any on the nose?
Yeah, just briefly,
The
the warrior priest
yep.
shows up again, the monk guy, and
Yeah.
he goes
Right.
into the hall of hell, which he says looks very bad,
Yep.
and has a
He
purple
also
aura
real
around it. So
he also realized that Hyakimadu had been killing people,
yeah, in
human.
in episode 6, he kills people in like his rage after what's her face's
Mio
death.
dead.
Yeah, Mio.
Mio.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he shows up just as a way for, I mean, his role is just to say, wow, this looks really bad. I mean, we knew that already. I don't know why we needed him to show
Oh,
up and say that. Maybe he'll have a bigger role in the
and
next episode somehow.
and one more thing is like actually he had
Kakimaru.
Hyakimadu had been talking more clearly as well,
That's true.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's nice. We
yeah, that's
won't need to
nice.
hear Dororo's squeaky voice so much. He won't have to be like the interpreter all the time. Hyakimaru will be able to say a few rudimentary sentences. That would be great. And
Right.
it makes sense. He's been hearing people talk for so long. Were his ears one of the things that he got back when he killed one of the demons?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why there was an episode that he had a trouble hearing.
Yeah. I mean,
Every sound would be too strong
oh
for him.
yeah, that's right. I mean, he shouldn't be talking already. There's no way. If his
Yep.
whole life he's been deaf,
Yep.
then there's no way he should be talking already. But it's a TV show, and that's fine. I'm ready for him to talk, as a
Yeah.
viewer. So it's cool.
Yep. No. It's believable for me. So yeah, it's cool.
Well, is it believable? Like
I
he missed
It
the critical period
is.
of language acquisition, like when you're a small child and you can take in a language really quickly.
Yeah,
So it
but
should take him like years of study in order just to be able to talk and
yeah.
understand
Well,
language.
the thing is like he doesn't grow up as like a normal child. So he basically going through that now, and I think he would pick up faster than the was as
You think
well.
his brain is
Since
still like
now,
a child's brain?
I think his brain is just too abnormal to be classified as either a child or like a normal adult
Yeah, I know what you
brain.
mean, but I do think that studies have been done on people who have like lived in nature for the first,
Yep,
let's say,
yep,
10
yep.
or 12 years of their lives, and they have a really
I,
hard time picking up language because there is a period of your life when you're younger where
and
you're
you pick
able,
up other languages.
yeah, you can learn like multiple languages at once when you're exposed to them. Like for example, I have a couple of little cousins, they're twins, and their
Yep.
family is bilingual. So their mom only spoke Spanish to them, and their father only spoke English to
Mhm.
them. And they
Yep.
now they know both languages,
Yeah.
fluently,
Uh,
perfectly.
right.
But
Uh,
Hyakimaru, he shouldn't even be able to do one language. But
Yep.
it's okay.
All right. Yep. I do think though that like one of the last part of his body that he get back will be his eyes,
Yeah, I have to
because I
imagine
think
that will be
it's
the
like
very last one.
yeah, I think it's intentional that like every other part of his head is back, but he couldn't be able to see like a normal person now. I think it's all intentional.
Yeah. I mean, the way he sees Thou is very distinct, so that's built into his character. That'll probably carry through most, if not all, of the series. He may not. He may actually not get his eyes back. The story may
All right.
end
He,
before he beats every single demon. Someone else might be the one to kill the last one, and Hyakimaru will have
yeah,
died, or he just
yeah,
won't
he
kill the
might die
last.
before that.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
We'll
Or
see.
maybe could it be that like one of the last person he have to kill is his brother.
His brother?
Like
Why
the
would he have to kill
brother,
his brother?
yeah, because brother might just get berserked, just got possessed by some monster, so
Oh,
that he had to kill his brother.
eh. I don't know how I'd feel about that.
Drama. That's that's what drama does.
Yep.
Conflict.
Yeah,
All
maybe.
right.
We'll see.
Let's get to the last show though. Your favorite show,
Not this week.
kaguya-sama. Oh, not this week.
No, not this
Tell me
week.
why.
One of the segments was about Kaguya like freaking out about Twitter, which was not
Yep.
too interesting. Um, then the second one was about Fujiwara eating ramen, which was totally divorced
Yep.
from all the normal student council stuff. It was just like an old man who functioned as the narrator. So I guess that's an interesting
Yep.
concept, kind of funny, but not really what I wanted to see. And the
All
third
right.
one is just
Um.
like, what is the third one? Oh yeah, Shirogane and Kaguya are both like bored, and so they both go to the student council room to try to see each other somehow,
Yep.
and they just miss
Mhm.
each other, and that
All right.
like I wasn't very interested in that either. It was kind of short because they had to make room for the post-credit scene.
Yeah. How do you feel about the post credit scenes?
I
Let's
mean,
talk about it first.
yeah, I mean it's probably the most worth talking about. I assume. I don't know what I assume. I
Yep.
mean, we knew most of this already. That she'd had
Yep.
a very sterile and kind of cold upbringing. That her,
Mhm.
you know, she doesn't do well with other people. So, this opportunity that she had to go shopping with the other girls when it's taken away from her because her father needs her to be someplace. Okay, let's talk about what was the deal with her being in that room. I thought there was going to be a marriage interview because she's sitting on the other side of that table. Have you seen like marriage interviews in anime where the man
No,
and the
I
woman?
haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. It's like a
Are they all right? Are they supposed to sit in one room, like talk to each other, and they're gonna be like their moms
yeah, or just their
gonna
families.
sit beside it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the way it's
Well.
usually laid out
Yes.
is like Kagi would be on one side of the table in the middle, her potential husband would be on the other side of the table in the middle, and then her like each one's mother and father would sit on either side of them.
Yep. Yep.
But just the way the room was laid out, like the tatami mat room and that long table and the cushions that she was kneeling on, it made me think there was going to be a marriage interview, and that would, oh no, like my family wants me to get married to this really powerful guy. It's like an economic alliance. What am I going to do about my feelings about Shirogane? Oh no, I thought it was going to be that. But instead, she was just
I
summoned there so she could say hello to her father as he walked past.
No, no,
Was
no. No. I don't think that's okay. I don't. I just think that she was waiting to the event. So I think it would make a perfect sense that it was the case. It is the case that they want to introduce her to someone else.
Okay.
Because I think that was just like she was just waiting. So he was just passing by and he just said like, oh okay, you came. Hello. He didn't even say hello actually.
Yeah, he
Oh,
never
so you
says he
came.
never says hello or good job or
Yep.
welcome home or have a great day or anything
So
like that
so
or I love you.
yep. So I think like we will know about what's gonna be happen. So like the event in the next episodes, and I think that you making a very good point there
What about the marriage
because this
interview?
is yeah this is like after all a rom com anime, so it has to do with like her her romantic life.
Yeah,
So I think it makes sense that that it should be like a hurdle for her to overcome.
yeah. I mean, it does make sense. I mean, at least to me. But the thing
Yep.
is, we that was never confirmed in that episode. You would think that would be some
No.
sort of cliffhanger. That like at the very end they would perhaps
Yeah.
the potential husband would like come through the door, or the father would say,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure you were going to turn up for this marriage interview or something.
Yep.
but instead it
They
focuses
did.
much more on her, her denial of her
It's
sadness um, at
yeah.
her family situation, and doesn't really.
I just
Go ahead.
how how the maid she remarked. She said like she said something like that. I want to punch him or something,
Huh?
or
What?
just
You're
no.
talking about
So I think
Hayasaka?
he yeah. I think she said something along the line with like the next time he does it, I will punch him or something among like she had to travel just for this or something.
Yeah, that's
It's
that's what
like too
makes me think that it
complicated.
wasn't a marriage interview. Like, because she's so outraged at the fact that Kaguya had to travel all this way just to see her father.
Yep. Well,
So I don't know that I didn't
uh,
think it was really clear what was. Maybe it's a cultural
yeah.
thing or something I'm not picking up on, but I don't I don't really get it.
Mm,
I mean, obviously, if all that she had to do was go and like see her father in their Kyoto home, that's terrible, I guess. But
yeah.
it's also like a non-event. It doesn't even like register for me as an audience member.
Yeah. I think they just doesn't pull any punch right now. I don't know why, but I think the next episode there gonna be some kind of event because there are only two things that like you need to summon your daughter. One of them is like you have some big event coming up, and what the other one is like you or your wife getting sick, like bedridden sick,
Hmm.
and you want to see them for the last time. So yeah,
Okay.
I think that would be the first choice,
Well, I
the
mean,
first option.
there are many other reasons to summon your daughter, like to ask her about
Yeah,
how she's feeling or how her day went, or if she wants to go out for ice cream or
mm,
something. That's
yeah, not gonna happen to Kasuga, that.
Yeah, poor Kaguya.
Uh, yeah.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, so
all
it was
right.
all that's the post credit scene. It's all really sad because she just keeps telling herself over and over
Mm,
that her situation is fine and that she isn't hurt by any of this, and obviously she is.
yep.
Anyone would be. Um,
Yep.
so I mean that's to me that's the only like really noteworthy part of the episode. I was kind of like weirded
I
out by
yeah.
the rest. Not really
All right.
disappointed as I have been in the past by a few episodes, but just kind of
Yep.
taken aback by the choices for which chapters would be
All,
adapted this week.
all right. Because I gonna tell you that the post credit scene was good as well. I think it say a lot about the context. It say a lot about her situation and her feeling, which is important. But I also like the ramen segment because
Yeah.
one I do love ramen, and second I think I also watched one of the movie that like really about the love of ramen. I think the name is Tampopo, and this one does this kind of the same thing, which I think is really good, really refreshing. In fact, that like you love something so much that you want just like a culture, a good eating, a good experience. So yeah, I think I enjoyed that segment a lot. I think I mentioned you about that movie before.
Yeah, I
Tampopo.
when you said that the movie about eating ramen, I remembered that. Um,
Yeah.
Not something that
So
I'm totally
yeah.
interested in, and neither was I very
Right.
interested in this segment because I don't have a great love for ramen. And
Mm,
also, this like what did I learn as a result of this
that she's
chapter?
like the god of she like the goddess of ramen. She even beat like the powerful or whatever.
Yeah, okay, let me rephrase. Did I learn anything important from this chapter?
Not necessarily. No. Well, ramen is good. That what you ought to learn.
Then why not just put the three words "ramen is good" up on screen for like 5 seconds? Let me read it and move on. I don't get it. You know,
All right.
I I don't understand. I think there were some interesting looking screen caps. You know, really
Yep.
dramatic shading on the old guy's face as he was like contemplating how powerful a ramen eater Fujiwara might be. So when I do the blog
Mm-hmm,
post, I'm
mm-hmm,
sure I'll
mm-hmm.
use some of those pictures. But I'll also probably be complaining about that segment like a little bit. I don't think it was bad. Um,
Yep.
it was just
It just
out of
weird
left
you out.
field for me.
Which is, I don't think that's a bad thing though.
Well, we are coming up on the
Well,
end of the series, you know. So if the show is
yep.
going to reserve something like this post credit scene for the end and devote more
And
time to something like uh, being anxious about how Twitter works or
yep.
eating ramen and like enjoying yourself while doing it, but then this like emotional bit at the end, which says a lot more about the main character of the series, is reserved for just like 4 minutes in a position where,
And
or less than 4 minutes, in a position where some people won't have seen it at all because they hear the ending theme and they're like, "Oh, time to click the X. Let's move on to something else." I just don't understand that
all
choice.
all right. Regarding two other segments, I'm a bit impatient now about their progressions. You know, they need to be more interaction between them, but I think that is the point. But you know, like I also feel frustrating that both Kaguya and Shirogane just doesn't even make a conversation to each other.
Oh yeah, during the summer.
It, yeah, during the summers, during the two segment that we see, you know, like just even a text, even like just add their Facebook account. Oh my god,
Well, Facebook is
it
old.
it is it
Nobody
is
nobody cares
shocking.
about Facebook anymore. It's all about Twitter and IG,
Yeah, yeah. Oh well.
or should I say Insta?
So
What are the kids? What are the Japanese high school kids saying these days? I mean, they probably should just say SNS.
yeah, they lie. They do lie as well.
Right,
The
right, right.
the apps, the chat apps.
Yeah. I don't know if I mean, I'm sure that Facebook is big in Japan. It's big the whole world over. Um, just because
Yeah,
they have so much
except China.
money and influence. Oh, is it banned in China?
Uh, it actually got banned in China, and they have like their own version of Facebook,
Okay.
but they call something else.
Well, that's cool. I mean, the less
Yeah,
powerful Facebook is on a global scale, the better. It already like
yeah.
consumes so many people's lives. And the whole thing about Twitter, like
uh,
she wants to follow him on Twitter, but I mean, it's like that's how Kaguya and Shirogane are. They don't want to be the first one to
yeah,
make a move. I mean, I understand it and it makes sense, but it's just Twitter. Like this might be more of a personal thing. The ramen thing, I think you can point to and say, well, that's not helping us understand the characters any better or moving the story forward. The Twitter thing might
yep.
just be a personal thing for me because I don't really care about social media. I think it's destructive, and like
A waste
vain
of time.
and vain. Yeah. So an episode that's kind of based around it, at least in part, is not very interesting to me at all. But Hayasaka had her own little
Right.
bit. At the end, she kind of implies that she wants to live like a normal high schooler and have a relationship as
Yep.
well. She kind of plays it off as a joke, but I'm sure it's a rom com. I'm sure that eventually she'll get paired up with somebody in the manga. I'm sure that's they're leading into it already.
Maybe
Um,
Ishigami. They haven't met each other though. That would be interesting actually.
I
The one
guess.
who always jealous about, the one who always jealous about being alone, about like other people just like dating among themselves, and the
Yeah.
other one who just too busy, attractive but too busy to in order to have anyone else.
Yeah, I mean
Why
it
not?
makes sense because you got Kaguya and Shirogane. Fujiwara is the wild card, so you know,
Yep.
so she's
Well,
not paired
oh,
up with anybody necessarily.
actually, in this episode, we see Fujiwara sisters. I think that we have like two other sisters. One little sister, and the other one is more like a tomboyish girl.
What The
Like,
older sister is the tomboy.
is it is that her older sister? All right, right.
Yeah,
I just
I think
I
she
just
has.
making assumption here.
I think she has one older sister, the one who's sitting on the beach chair, while she and the
Oh, right,
younger
right,
sister
right.
play in the water. So I think she has one older and
All
one
right, all
younger.
right, all right.
Um, and they're all like
So
clones of each other.
yeah. So I'm just interested to like how I think they would reappear if we have like more episodes
Yeah.
of
Okay.
anime.
Here's an example about something this episode could have done differently. And I know it's adapting the
Yep,
manga, so it's
yep.
limited in the decisions it can make. But how about instead of
Mhm.
the ramen episode as it existed in episode 11,
Yep.
why not have all three sisters go to a ramen shop, cut out the old man, and focus on the differences in the way that the three of them eat ramen to kind of highlight their different personalities? That gives us more
Well,
information
yeah,
about the two sisters who we don't know very well, and also Fujiwara's relationship with them. To me, that's like clearly better, but
yep.
whatever.
Well,
Oh
I
well.
think the point of that I think the point of that segment is that Fujiwara just the things she like to do, but it turned out to be like the very way to experience the true good ramen.
Right. Yes.
Does it
She
make
is.
sense?
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, that's something about her character that we've been getting for a while now, is that she is a wild card. She is unpredictable, and she does kind of like follow her whims. But at the same time,
Right.
she has a certain like power about her. You know, she's
Yep.
able to
Yep. Yep.
perfectly diffuse situations between Kaguya and Shirogane.
Mm-hmm.
She like lucks into incredible situations all the time, just as like part of who she is. So yeah, the fact that
And
she
she
like
does.
stumbles upon the perfect ramen recipe with the garlic and everything,
Right.
it makes sense, I guess.
And she does like one of the perfect dance that raw of the YouTuber that make like a few hundreds of intimation of like real people doing the dance and stuff. I actually when
Huh?
I think about that, maybe they do this segment just for to raise up her popularity.
Oh, you're talking about the ED of episode 3.
Yeah, the ED.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know why they did the segment. Probably because they just
right.
knew they were gonna resolve or rather reserve some dramatic stuff for the last episode, and they just needed to kill a little bit of time until then. So
Yep, maybe.
just Twitter and ramen all day.
All right. Let's get to the to Gunbuster then.
Okay.
Episode 2 and 3. You have any? Actually, you have any other notes on
Kaguya-sama, no.
Kaguya-sama?
No.
All right. So let's do Gunbuster. I actually really like the second
Gunbuster!
episode of Gunbuster.
The second episode?
Yeah, the second one when they do the time traveling,
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
and
clever.
yeah, yeah.
Why did you like it so
I
much?
feel because I just feel surprised at the crew themselves to actually see that the that like the ship that her that her father that Noriko's father was there, and I would make like immediate reaction that like she would jump into the ship as she did,
Right.
and only lost time like they was like 12 seconds behind the schedule that make like 6 months uh different. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I'm not sure if that's actually how it works. I mean, I do know that time passes differently. Um, you
Yep.
know, like the further away you are from the sun, but that's only
Mm-hmm.
because time is a construct that's been invented by humans. Time isn't actually moving
Right.
differently. Our measurement,
Yep.
like our perception based on the system of seconds, minutes, and hours, and days, weeks, etc. that we've come up with. That's what's moving differently. So I'm not sure that the ship would actually still be there. I don't think that makes scientific sense.
All right. I think all right. I think the time concept is more about if you if you go over the speed of light, that when the
Ah,
time is changing.
okay.
So I think that's why when they go into that thing, and then it reaching like the speed of light thing, that's why, yeah, that's why the
Okay.
chain would function differently.
Wait, but wasn't the other ship also moving at the speed of light?
Yeah, that no, they were like far from behind, because I think they were sucking into like one of these, the thing where the hole or something,
Like a wormhole?
where it yeah, where it's run much faster. And I think they did mention something about the speed of light
They did multiple
in that
times.
episode.
In fact, what they said specifically was like sub light speed, so just under the speed of light.
Oh, right, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that that kind of I don't think they actually reach the speed of light, which actually makes you go backwards in time, according to the theory of relativity.
Hmm,
Uh,
that's actually really interesting.
that was what Einstein theorized. I don't know if it's been proven or if it's been demonstrated. I don't think it has, but it's mostly accepted as fact. Um,
So you would go back to the past.
yeah, that's how a lot of
Is
people
that how that
theorize
work?
time travel works. Is you need to move faster than the speed of light in a particular
Yep.
direction, and you'll move backwards from that point
Yep,
in
yep, yep, yep,
time.
yep.
Yeah, but I mean,
Pretty cool.
the actual way that you travel through time, as we all know, is microwaving a banana.
Yep, yep, yep.
Um,
I know that.
yes, as all anime
Make
fans understand.
make it all green and well, slippery.
Yeah,
What's the word?
gelatinous.
I got. Yep. Oh well. All right.
Uh,
Let's just stop right here.
yes, but I do, all scientific, speculation aside, I do agree that it was cool how they played with the time difference to give her an opportunity to have like the wound of her father's death opened up again.
Yep. Yep.
Um, that's where they're taking her character to a pretty sad place because she does seem to be like very emotional, like crying all the time in both of these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and compounding that in episode 3, the girl that she looks up to and calls One-sama, doesn't want to be her
Mm-hmm.
partner because she feels as though she's lacking in ability. And then
Yep.
the guy that she meets, who she describes in the next episode preview as my first love. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the next episode preview for the coming episode 4, but she says my first love has vanished into the stars. She just met him in that episode.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I know for the fact that the title of the episode 3 is first love, first sortie. Sortie means for ethics in French.
It means what in French?
So exit. So like
Exit. Okay, yeah.
the way out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it means like launch,
Um.
I think, in this context. They're exiting the bay of the ship and launching out into space.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So
So
first
yeah,
love,
I
yeah.
think so. So I think she consider him as her first love,
I
even
mean,
though from the concept that we see, it's far from, like they're not even holding hand, they're not even
but they had an indirect kiss,
kissing.
Mario. They had an indirect kiss.
Oh my god, yes. How
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 could you
could I
forget?
forget that? So yeah, that automatically meant the first love. So yeah, that would make sense.
Yep.
all
Uh,
all all she need to do, I think, and that gonna haunt her for the rest of her life, is that she haven't make any mentor for him.
yeah. How the I that would probably haunt me
Yep. Well,
if I didn't make lunch for my my significant other before they passed away
yeah.
due to an attack by giant space bugs.
Oh god. All right, let's back to business now.
All right. So back to episode 2.
Yep.
We finally meet Jung Freud.
Yeah, and she actually a girl. Wow.
Yeah, well, they're all girls. This is like it's a cute girls. Oh, I guess they're not all girls because we see the
That's a boy.
yeah. There's one
Smith
boy,
Torrent.
and at one point she like ducks her head into the men's quarters, and she
Yep,
sees
yep, yep.
all of his like co-pilots who are mourning his death. And then she
Yep.
backs out.
Right.
So there are guys,
Yep.
but yeah, all the main characters are going to be women. That seems to be
Yep.
the thing.
So we meet Jung Freud, who eventually is act more like a rival
Yeah,
to Kazumi.
at least for like 10 minutes or 8.
Yeah, and then afterwards she was just like she had like completely other characters personality. I
Yeah,
mean,
we get the scene where all of them are bathing together, and she's like complaining
oh,
about her back pains and stuff.
all right. Is that your version is like you can see like all the nudity, right?
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't censored.
Oh my god. All right.
Was yours
Amazing. Yeah. It
amazing?
wasn't censored. I was taken aback. I wasn't expecting that
Oh,
actually.
it's
I,
Gynax. This is old
yeah,
Gynax
and it was
before like whatever current set of censorship laws kicked in.
and and because it doesn't have anything to do with the plot. Right? All right.
Well, that
Yeah.
I don't know
It's
if that's
fan
true.
service.
They talk about
Mm,
how like hot the coach is. Jung talks about the coach being really really attractive, and you can kind of tell that Kazumi, like
yeah.
the blue haired girl, like she bristles at that. She acts kind of frosty, so I think she might
Yeah.
have a crush on the coach herself. So
All
that is
right.
kind of relevant to the plot, I think. Like the two of them, it's true that their rivalry seems to evaporate pretty quickly after that first fight scene, but they might be
Mm-hmm.
like rivals in romance as the episodes go on.
All right.
I'm
Wow.
predicting that at least.
All right. I'm not. Wow. I like the second episode, especially towards the last half. I actually doesn't really like the episode three. I think it's for the fact that I think it isn't complete. I think it's like they do the OVA like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. So that's why 1, 2 feel like a complete story. Three is just half a story that we see so far. That's what I feel though.
Uh,
I just
I
feel
don't know
that.
about that.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah, I
don't you
just
think
feel
that
like it
episode 1 feels
incomplete in a
like
way.
a prequel that stands on its own before they get out into space?
It actually does.
And
But
episode
but
2
like the
feels like the
second one,
start of, you know, the real saga.
yeah. Hmm.
I
I still feel like the first two are complete. Like I really um support each other in some way.
huh, okay, I didn't really get that.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
Although I do agree
But
that episode 3, like us not watching episode 4, means that we don't feel a lot of the emotional fallout from
yep, yep,
Smith Torrin or whatever his name is, his death. I mean, we're not going to feel it anyway because he was introduced like really quickly and then killed off in the same episode. But
yeah,
we haven't felt or seen the full extent of Noriko's grief yet. So we'll
yeah.
probably get that
I,
in the next episode, and then maybe episode 3 will sort of retroactively be improved by that. But I also thought episode 2 was better.
um, one moment from episode three though that I really like it, and I think Anno had been really adept, had been really good on doing that.
I think I know
And
what
that's
scene you're gonna
showing
say.
how, yeah, that's when Noriko is like she feeling she free. She actually basically free when she is
Yes.
in the battle. So she
Yep.
couldn't do anything, and she feel kind of anxiety.
Yep.
She and I think like the moment that hit me the most was when she actually asked for Smith, and she doesn't hear any response whatsoever. It's just like dead silent.
Right. Yeah. Did that remind you of
So I
anything from another Anno series that we watched?
well it that we watch it's a very leading questions. Yeah,
Well,
it
what
reminds me
scene?
of Nadia.
What scene in Nadia
It
particularly? It made me think of one scene.
it made me uh it remind me more of AG. Like in even like in the first three episodes, I actually feel that. Like in I think the first episode of Evangelion,
Ah, okay.
and what scene in Nadia? Let's see. There was an episode where Nadia was all talking about her duty and stuff.
As like the queen of Atlantis or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's not the
I
one.
was
That's
thinking
not the
of
one
that
I'm
scene.
thinking of.
All right.
I mean,
What was the one?
it's true that Anno is really good at depicting anxiety on screen.
Yep.
Just through his directorial style, taking like long pauses, long breaks with no sound, like color
Mm-hmm.
choice, music,
Yep.
like repeated piano chords, like
Mm-hmm.
high notes on the keys. He does that in like everything he directs, I think. But
Yep.
the thing that it reminded me of was the episode of Nadia where they're hiding in that like underwater cavern in the submarine as Gargoyle is
All
dropping
right.
bombs down through the
Yep.
water, and like they can't move, and they feel like they're gonna be smothered in there, like it's gonna collapse on them.
Right.
That scene was like really tense. It reminded me of that because it felt kind of
All right.
claustrophobic, like everything was gonna end at any second.
It, you know, uh, yeah, that's the feel of like hopelessness.
Yeah,
It's just like there is no hope. There is you. We're gonna die soon. We're gonna, I think that he really good at that
yeah,
because I can feel like Noriko, all of her feeling of failure, her feeling of like she doesn't know what to do,
right.
and
Her first
like
love has been is not
yeah,
responding on the
and
radio.
even like it's a proof that her ex partner Kazumi was right.
Right.
That
Yeah,
that's
that's a good point.
yeah.
That
So
makes it
like
even
all
more
the things,
crushing.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, what do you think the plot will go from here?
I don't know, man.
Oh,
I mean, I assume there'll
all
be
right.
one episode dedicated to her kind of like getting back on her feet, maybe undergoing some more training with the coach or something. Then in episode 5, she's introduced to the gunbuster, which we see in this episode. It's behind the glass. When she comes in and like
Is it?
cries, yeah, when she comes
All
into
right.
the at the end of the episode, she finds the coach and she starts to cry because she's so traumatized. Um,
Yep.
the thing behind him, behind the glass, is Gunbuster, the robot that I think he wants her to pilot, based on her like
All
lineage,
right.
her family history.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, episode 4, she'll probably like there'll be a recovery phase. Episode 5, she'll be introduced to the Gunbuster and learn about like the ultimate threat from the aliens, and then episode 6 will be the battle.
And maybe she will die. Maybe everyone will die.
I
One
don't
thing
think
though
she's gonna die.
one thing though I I forgot to mention is that that this is like the first battle between the human and the alien, and the alien seem to be like very overwhelming. They like very much stronger, and because I think like someone mentioned that it's just like a small fleet, a small team from the alien, and they already make like a huge impact.
Yeah.
The huge yeah, to the human.
Yeah, there's actually one specific cut in episode 3 during the space battle scene where like at this point Smith is still alive and he's talking to Noriko over
Yep.
the speaker, and he says
Yep.
there are two approaching from such and such, like southwest or something. There's two of them approaching,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
we cut to an external shot, a space shot of Noriko's mobile weapon, her robot, and like these
Yep.
streaks. The background is red, and these two like black streaks zoom past her, and the camera kind of swivels as they move. It was like probably one of the most laborious shots of
Visually,
the
right.
entire episode or the series so far. And like
Yep.
our perspective of the two black, they're just like blurs. We can't even see them. They're moving so quickly. It shifts
Yep.
as it's almost to give the impression of like her being too slow to even perceive them with the human eye.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so that I think that cut, that specific scene goes a long way in establishing them as like really threatening and really scary.
Yep. I agree. So
And
yes, so far Gunbuster is still really good. It's good.
yeah,
It's not.
I think
It's
it's all right.
yep.
I'm
I
not
still
I'm not
prefer
totally
Nadia, but myself.
yeah. Well, I mean, they're different. Nadia is a big long TV series with a
Right.
bunch of like dead filler in the middle and a weird space battle at the end, whereas Gunbuster is much shorter. You know,
Yep.
and it sometimes has to introduce and kill off characters in the same episode just to get through its narrative.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so that's yeah. I think that's probably an issue. That's like a legitimate problem, but
Right.
it's okay. Like
Uh.
I'm enjoying watching it. I won't say that I'm totally hooked though.
Yep. Hmm. Do you have any other notes regarding the showdown?
Yeah, I think I do. Let me read through real quick
Yep.
here. Um,
Hmm.
we should probably note that that star Leaf 64 is
Yep.
the alien's base. Like the space bugs.
All right.
They're born from the
Yep.
star, which is why it undergoes that
Mm.
transformation that the captain wondered about in episode 3,
All right.
which I
Hmm.
think is a really interesting concept. And it's also visually like pretty damn cool. Like the red sun from
Hmm.
which these monstrous bugs emerge, as though they're
Yep. Yep.
being
Yep. Yep.
like, I don't know, baked, or what's the word I'm looking for? Um, just that they're like that's part of their birth process or their evolutionary process. They undergo almost like a trial by fire, just to emerge
Oh.
into the world as
Yep. Yep.
warriors.
Yep. Mm.
I think that's pretty neat. And also, I wanted to say that the scene right after Freud and Kazumi's fight, like their rivalry at the start of episode 2,
Yep.
you remember that
Yep.
part where
Yep.
they bust through the wall and they see the corpse of the big space bug?
Yep. Yep.
That's
Yep.
a really useful tool to give us a sense of scale, because they're so small in comparison with it. So I thought that was a good choice, like on a director level.
Yep.
And
The I think the direction were actually pretty good, pretty solid. Like all these things that you say, the characters though still had a lot of issues.
yeah, I
Some
think
of
that's
them
just
is
a
just
result of the fact that it's like a 6 episode OVA that is does seem to be focusing a lot on, like, it's like an intergalactic war that's going on, and they're trying to cram that into 6 episodes. This isn't like Fooly Cooley, which focuses more on, like mood and atmosphere. Um,
mm,
this is a gigantic war between
yeah,
humans and insects.
right.
Yeah, the characters are mostly tropes.
Yeah. Even the main character, even Noriko herself.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's still alright.
I have some hope that episode 4 will. I mean, she's got her backstory with her dad, and her feelings of inferiority because she's not as good a pilot as people expect her to be, or her partner wants her to be.
Yep.
So the ingredients are there for a good character, but I think we're just moving too quickly. But I have some hope that in
Yep.
episode 4, she'll be given time to process what's happened, and on hopefully without relying too much on the coach, like on under her own strength, she'll be able to bounce back. That's my hope.
Hmm. Yep. I do hope so as well.
All right. How about you? You
Alright.
got any last thoughts? Any notes? Anything like that?
Nah, that's alright. So next week though, we're gonna do episode 12 of everything, and we're gonna finish Gunbuster.
Yes, that's the
next
plan.
week. So that, yeah, so that in 2 weeks from now we can focus on something new. So
Indeed.
some new title.
I wonder what it might
So
be.
yep. All right.
All right, we're done for the week.
Yeah, we do. So thank you for listening, guys,
Yes, thanks
and we're
everybody.
gonna see you next week
Bye bye.
in a row. See you.